Family and friends, today I want to talk about the second most important life moment, spiritual awakening. Not to be confused with religion, although religion can lead you to it. Spiritual awakening, by my definition and interpretation, is a moment when we become truly self-aware of our existence and our purpose. It is when we look inward for answers life has yet to reveal and intimately get to know our Creator. For a lot of us, the journey to spiritual awakening can take most of our lives. For some, it never happens in this life, which is all part of the process of getting there as well. For a few of us, it is almost sudden and happens usually around near death or traumatic experiences, or maybe witnessing the miracle of birth or being born into awareness. I believe the latter to be my personal case. I've never needed to be introduced to God and spirituality. For me, it has always been, as far back as I can remember, an experience of companionship that I cannot begin to explain in words. And as a result, I seldomly talk about it. There are simply no words to describe walking with God. An inherent feeling, a deep awareness, doubt of being part of a creation or existence of the Creator itself, these were never an issue for me. I've never needed to see proof of God, but I see proof of God in everything. A perspective that for me is as clear as the ground we walk on. What was unclear for most of my younger years was what my purpose would be. Like many of us, I was unsure of what I should do with this life, but I've been nudged ever so gently over the years into serving others. A duty that I have since embraced. The past 12 years of my life has aligned me with doing exactly that. I now have the wisdom of understanding that all my experiences in life were necessary to pave my path. Either way, I tell you my story because generally it is something that isn't spoken. I say it because I believe that even if we are not born into spiritual awakening or thrusted into it by some traumatic experience, we are all undergoing the same process. Spiritual leaders only seem special. However, they have only arrived to a destination that all souls will eventually journey to. So therefore, we are all special. So regardless of where you are in the process, you must take comfort in the fact that each journey is unique, but we will all arrive to the same destination. It is literally what makes you, you. So what makes it a life moment? Well, when it happens and you become fully aware, it changes just about everything in your life. That change can be very dramatic. In my case, I had to quit jobs, places, and people that didn't align with my newfound life purpose. I became even more obsessed with building a relationship, an intimate relationship with God, and began to focus on the purposes I was empowered to fulfill. As a result, it is my humble belief that other than procreating another human being, there is nothing that is a larger life moment. But what about the elephant in the room, Coach AB? What about religion? So many feel that this is about being religious. However, I can tell you, one can be religious and not be spiritual, or even have a relationship with God. Religion is the concept, the guide, the rule, the organization, the history, and the reason for gathering. However, a relationship with God transcends religion, simply because it is a personal aspect that can happen anytime and anywhere. It matters not to God, Creator of all, how we communicate to Him, but that we communicate with Him. The religious aspect is simply a choice of direction, like a political preference or, say, a specific sports league. At the end of the day, we are all engaged in either making decisions for laws that affect us all, or regardless of team, we are all playing the same game. It's one universe, one galaxy, one planet, but we have borders, countries, states, cities, race, creeds, customs, and yes, religions. How can God create one more special than the other, one more superior than the other, one more intelligent than the next? Just like some galaxies that are just being formed, we are all at different stages of development, all designed to arrive at the same spiritual destination, all God's plan and grand design. The same reason, however, why telling you this will not change your beliefs. Because this logic is not intellectual. It is spiritual in nature. It has nothing to do with IQ or education of any kind. This is spiritual wisdom transcending through spiritual experience found only from the source, within. My role is just that, a role in that part of your spiritual experience, nothing more. Also the reason why some will see this and get it and some simply won't. The purpose of this and every conversation known to man, in my opinion, is eventual spiritual progression. The ultimate destination, the ultimate purpose, the same force that propels us physically does so spiritually. It's for all simple comprehension called God's will. We would love to have a world of peace and tranquility, but everything we have been taught in the physical will be the reason why any peace and tranquility, as is beauty and youth, space and time, can only be temporary. It is what pushes us forward and keeps us back at the same time. We are taught to see the differences, you see. Difference in the color of our skin, language, customs, and culture. Most indifferently, the beliefs we call religion. All part of the grand idea of love. The oldest religion, if it's allowed to be called that, by our collective wisdoms. The most prosperous, in my opinion, and thriving communities around the world are those that embraces all labels, let alone religion, and coexist under a wisdom of equality and love that is beyond the beliefs that created them in the first place. The natural progression, I believe, of society is a higher individual awareness of the spirit that slowly breaks the labels of time down to singular wisdom. That we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Words many of us say we live by. The laws of nature, as God has them, however, promises our existence with a constant threat of opposition, oppression, division, all that fuels these simple values, a balance that only the soul can comprehend. God's wisdom is impartial to those because it comes from spirituality, aware, regardless of labels and cultural differences, a spiritual cosmic reality that is to God a delicate dance between the forces that attract and divide, hate and love, good and evil, the very same forces that shape our universe. Family and friends, we cannot begin to understand God's grand design and existence mentally, but spiritually, we're all inherently expected to take part. This wisdom, when endowed, is the greatest enlightenment that we can attain. A preview to what's to come next. The knowledge that this life is just part of our journey. A moment in time. An opportunity to truly appreciate God's grand design. A fact that has inspired every great book, every great religion, every great custom, every great song, every great piece of artwork. All of which does its part to enrich our experience of the physical and elevate our experience in the spiritual. Stay tuned for my next episode on Life Moments, Legacy. Until then, family and friends, as always, may you have a meaningful and purposeful week. God bless.